post a couple of weeks ago, I think. The case against Apple in 5 parts. Could you please restate in 60 seconds or less for the audience here what you think the case against Apple is, and we'll dive into that.
Oh, this one's for the camera? I wrote the post to get more inbound links for my blog and for SEO, so I appreciate everybody having me here. But it was a post actually I had written about almost a year ago, because I was going to write an email about how I thought the antitrust interest in Google was kind of unfounded, since they don't have a monopoly and the switching cost off of Google is 0. If somebody doesn't like Google search, they can switch and type in Yahoo. There's no cost, there's no lock-in.
This has nothing to do with Google being your largest source of traffic, right?
But Google's the largest source of traffic, everybody in here. So let's not pretend anybody doesn't think differently. It's the operating system of the internet. But it is that reason too. I shelved the post, and then I just had so many signals coming to me about the iPhone. I wanted to put the Opera browser on it. I couldn't. Google Voice. And it just started to have this realization that this is not a phone. It's a computer. And the application level on a computer, that layer rather, should not be controlled by anybody. And I just imagined when this becomes a tablet, which I think is about 2 weeks from now, the application level will be controlled on a tablet, which is essentially a netbook. And it's only a matter of time, I think, before Apple tries to control the application level on computers. And which means anytime you want an application to run for a Mac user, you're going to have to get the stamp from Steve Jobs and from Apple. And it's highly, just besides giving somebody that kind of control, it's highly inefficient. On this device, I can load any URL and load any application for it anytime I want.
The UI experience is crappy on that device.
There are more, not for email, but you're right about everything else. And that is the crux of the problem, which is the MacBook Air, the iPhone. These are beautiful devices. We all love Apple, but man, they're really being dicks about things. And from trying to trademark a cartoon voice, I mean, I think Little Orphan Annie maybe have some prior art on that. I guess nobody saw that, but they're suing a developer because the cartoon, boxes when you do SMS is owned.
Okay, I think we're way over 60 seconds here. But
yeah. Anyway, that's it.
Case.
That's my case. I have about 20 other items I could add to it.
Apple doesn't want any browser but Safari on the iPhone. They basically put the hand up on Google having the Google Voice app on the iPhone. And you think that that's evil and that that's bad, not good for consumers. That's the basic presentation.
That's basically it, yes.
Mr. Kawasaki, rebuttal.
Jason, I can only see 3 interpretations of what you're doing. You're either just trying to get publicity,
I think that's probably true.
Or you're a communist.
That's very unlikely.
Or you're clueless.
Possibly.
Or all of them. I've never heard something so stupid. So you're all
Jane, you're ignorant slut.
So you're all. I didn't say he's stupid. I said what he said was stupid. There's a difference. So all of you are entrepreneurs in here, right? So let's just pretend that 10 years from now, you're dominating your market. Posters. I mean, everybody's posting through you. You've wiped out everybody.
Have to be investment.
Whatever. Well, that's the only guy I know in the room. So where's Larry? Larry has the ultimate, job search website, Simply Hired, whatever. Okay?
Exactly.
So all of you entrepreneurs, imagine yourself 10 years from now. By golly, you've hit it out. Everybody animates through Animoto, video, film, pictures, everything. And then Jason comes up and says, you know what? You guys are too damn successful. You're now evil. We need to break your ass up. What? I mean, what logic would make you think that because Apple has been successful for once in its life, now you should break it up? I don't understand that.
I can actually respond to that. The logic, I would say, it's not a good response or a good question, but I will respond to it anyway. In fact, pretty pathetic defense, basically insulting me. But it's pretty easy to insult me, so I'll let you have it. Essentially, the argument I would make against what Apple is doing is that everybody in this room has benefited from the open internet. The open internet is the reason why all of these venture capitalists will invest in your companies and my company. If the internet was closed and we were all working on Time Warner's cable network and information super data highway, we'd all be fucked and nobody would be making any money. The reason Posterous can do what it can do...
Nobody would be making any money?
No, except for Time Warner and who was controlling it.
The reason cable television is open or closed?
It is, and I think then we would be... Can I finish my point?
Okay, well, I asked an A or B, and you said it is.
No, no. No, it is closed. It is, obviously it's closed, and that's why you have people, that's why you have less choice there. I happen to be somebody
people are still making money on cable.
Of course they're making. This isn't about making money. This is, as an industry, what ethics and what ethos we want to support. Okay. And I think that what's made the industry great is the fact that we have HTML standards, TCP/IP standards, and we have these various standards and open source architecture that lets us all compete on an open playing field. If Google said, you know what, search results now, because we're #1, we're going to give ourselves the first 5. And then you guys can fight it out for the rest.
They sort of are doing that.
That's called sponsored link, Jason.
Yes.
Well, no, but I mean the organic results are supposed to be in some way fair.
Well, they
so
certainly engineered Wikipedia links to be higher up the page. And
well, whatever. I mean, people would argue that those pages are the most up to date and are the have the most inbound links, and that would be why they're there. Right. Anyway, the point is, the industry. Nobody can deny that the reason why the internet has been the fastest adoption curve of any technology is because it's open. And the reason why people have invested so many billions of dollars in it is because it's open.
Okay.
And a closed system is not what we want.
We would probably agree with that. AOL did not become a huge-ass company just because of all the African things.
So give me this.
And AOL got cracked because of the internet.
Okay.
And it should have gotten cracked because of the internet.
You know quite a bit about AOL.
Okay.
So
figure out they bought you.
Exactly.
Okay, so using your argument, if Apple is this closed, heinous system, eventually it'll get toasted and something else will take its place. So what's the problem? What's the problem?
I would say the problem is I would like to see Apple open up the iPhone and continue to develop and not make us all jump through hoops to get our applications on there. A simple poll of the audience. How many people have an iPhone in here? Raise your hand nice and high. Okay. Of the people who have an iPhone in here, how many people would like to load any application they want on the phone they paid for whenever they want? Who would like to do that anytime they want? How many people here would like to be restricted in what applications they load? Okay. This idiot would like to be restricted. Okay.
You all don't
Number
hate
2.
Children, do you?
Number two. How many...
Okay, you get to ask one more question.
This is my last one. This is my last one.
I'm grabbing this back in just a second.
Of the people who are paying, how many people here have a wireless data plan? That would be everybody? Verizon, whatever? Anybody have any kind of, if you have a phone, you have a data plan. How many people would like to use those data minutes as they see fit? Great. How many people would like to have Apple and AT&T decide how they use their data?
So I
rest my case.
To keep a balance going on here. I would say that
there's no balance. Everybody agrees with me.
Would you agree that there is competition between cell carriers? There's 4 or 5 major cell carriers in the U.S.
Not as much as in
That
Europe.
service sucks ass.
Right.
Competition has not really, in my opinion, improved the service in that industry one bit. I guess I want to get to one of the other questions, though, is I think we would all agree that Apple has had a bit of a heavy hand in how it treats partners, developers, customers. But on the other hand, they've produced great products, and maybe some people may feel the ends justify the means, some people do not. I would like to ask you guys, do you guys think it's right that Apple didn't approve the Google Voice app for the iPhone? And do you think that Apple treats its developers fairly enough?
Okay. So I ran the Apple Developer Program, and
Indeed.
I'll tell you that.
So would you have put the kibosh on the Google Voice app guy?
I would need more data.
Oh, wait. Yes or no? Yes or no?
It's not a yes or no question.
You have to say yes or no, or Jason gets it.
Okay, so this is why you need more data. You need to know.
30 seconds, yes or no, or he gets the mic.
Sure, give it to him now.
I think we know who's given up, has no argument here.
By the way, I just lost there. I don't know if you know that.
Here, give me this.
He's talking like a politician. When they start talking like politicians, you know they have no argument.
This is why you need to know. The assumption from many people is that Apple's evil and they're blocking this because they don't want other voice services to, I don't know, compete with AT&T or whatever. But there are other explanations. One other explanation, or I'll give you some. A, Apple could just be stupid. You know, that's possible. Secondly, maybe Google Voice has full of bugs, so they don't want to approve it yet. Maybe it sucks up the battery power too much, so they don't want to approve it yet. There could be other reasons besides Apple's evil for not saying yes to this. I don't know what the reasons are. I'll tell you the truth. I don't think that Phil Schiller should decide which app gets published. I will agree with that, okay? Phil Schiller should not be the person. But having said that, the question was asked, you know, how many of you want an open apps and all this kind of stuff? How many of you have iPhones that if only you could get this other app that isn't currently available, you'd be happy?
Well, everybody who's ever cracked an iPhone.
So basically, you're all happy in this heinous, evil, mind control, monopolistic system. So let's just focus on being happy.
All right. Very good.
Spoken like a true shareholder. Does anybody in here want to tether their iPhone so that they don't have to buy an EVDO card? Wouldn't that be a nice feature? Yes. Okay. So there's plenty of applications, and also limiting the creativity of developers is not going to end well.
They weren't limiting the creativity of developers. They were limiting the creativity of Google. There's a difference.
Are there any iPhone developers out here? How many of you feel your creativity is limited by this heinous, evil, monopolistic empire? So tell us how it's limited.
One, two. I don't know.
How is it limited? Okay, so there's a 2-week problem because your software is always on time.
That's incompetence, not evil. Like the fact
Well,
that the
like I said, stupid.
Exactly,
Yeah.
right. The publishing time frame.
So, but the question was restraining your creativity, not your shipping. There's a difference.
Still restrained.
Okay, we're not throwing this wide open to the audience. We'll take one or two here. Jeff?
I have a music app, and I have a lot of questions as to whether we'll approve it at all.
Good point.
Okay. Jeff
Not the only one.
Last month's speaker from Lala. Ed?
They won't approve porn.
They won't approve porn.
Now,
That's a good point.
that's something Guy can get behind.
I don't know, we're trying to get nice now. So I guess the point I would make is that I think Apple has done a pretty good job by its developers in creating an interesting platform for them, helping them make money. Ultimately, I think if platforms are delivering customers and or money, you can't necessarily be too evil. And I think you probably agree with me there, Jason. So do you feel that like by regulating or restricting Apple, you're going to create a better environment?
I was very specific in my post to say I don't believe in government regulation. What I believe in is the industry coming out very strongly to Apple and the developers saying, listen, if we're going to participate in your system, we have rights too. And we are part of the ecosystem. And here are the rights we want. One, we think people should be able to load any application they want at any time if they click a button that says, I'll do experimental ones. Two, we want the right to do any application, regardless of if it competes with you, a browser, etc.
The customer manifesto for Apple. You're
Well,
going to start that parade?
I think there should be an iPhone Bill of Rights, both for users and developers. I also think for Facebook, it's a similar issue. People invested a lot of money in Facebook applications only to have Facebook dump them 3 levels deep. And a lot of companies have problems with that. I would never build a company off of either of these two platforms when the open internet is there. And I think that's why Google...
I think Mark Pincus might choose to disagree.
And listen, he's doing great. $100 million can't be wrong, but it's like one company.
How do you explain Nintendo?
What, being successful?
Well, Nintendo being successful and it's a closed system.
I never made the assumption, or I never made the statement that a closed system could not be successful. It can be successful.
Oh.
I'm saying as an industry, we shouldn't support closed systems.
So we shouldn't support Nintendo either.
I'm not a Nintendo developer. I'm not in that industry. So.
Also, now you're punting like a politician.
No, actually, what I'm doing is I'm not speaking on something I have no knowledge of.
Well, you've been speaking for 20 minutes.
Of something I have knowledge
Body
of.
blow! Body blow! Finish it. All right, let's do it to a different topic here. I guess I want to talk a little bit about past, present, future. In my opinion, I would have to say that the past of evil has been Microsoft. The present of evil is Apple. The future of evil might be Google, possibly could be Facebook. Guy, do you think that Apple runs its business differently than it did 10 years ago? Because you were part of that administration.
Well, yeah, it's profitable now.
Okay. Oh, wait, that wasn't your fault.
The products are good.
As soon as I left, it turned profitable.
So, wow. Wait, can you come work for my company so I can fire you again? So, what do you think is different, or is it different? Do you think that Apple just has more market share now, or do they operate from a principal standpoint any differently?
No, my interpretation of Apple being outside and inside of Apple is basically Apple is a completely engineering-driven company. And when it creates great stuff, it does well. And when it creates junky stuff, it sucks. So everybody thinks Apple is just, totally consistent, batting 1,000, but there was Apple III, there was Lisa, there was Newton, there's a bunch
Cube.
of failures. There's Apple.
Newton was a pretty big ass failure.
Yeah, so there were a lot of failures. It's just Apple is on a hot streak now. And one thing I can tell you about Apple for sure, it's never as good or as bad as it seems. And when I was inside Apple, when it seemed really bad to the outside, and it really wasn't that bad. And now we're on the outside looking in, and we think, my God, Apple's evil, dominating all these markets and all that with their 5% share of Macintosh or operating system. But you know what? I mean,
But
in a sense, it's
80% or more market share of MP3 players and those kinds of devices. Right?
yes, but you can still go to Best Buy and buy 20 different MP3 players. You
That
don't
all-
have to
that
buy an
all
iPod.
suck. That all sucks.
Well, then,
And that you
so
can't.
what's wrong with that?
All right, Jason, you want to weigh in on this? Do you think that Apple's any different than it was 10 years ago, or just that they have more market share and the evil is more visible?
As Guy was saying, clearly the products got better when he left. Nobody would argue with that.
Hey, he was just marketing. He wasn't product and engineering.
Obviously, they're better at what they do. They have tremendous market share in MP3 players, and I think it would be actually kind of nice if I could plug any MP3 player I want into iTunes. I don't see why that's such a big deal to them. I don't think it's any skin off their back.
Well, it is skin off their back. They're trying to make money with iTunes. They're trying to make 99 cents a song. So it's up to them.
I agree. It is up to them.
So
I would prefer as a user, and as somebody who's probably spent...
use a Zune.
I actually ordered the Zune 2 to see how it is. It's a pretty beautiful device.
So you're happy now.
Okay, we can end the debate.
Life is good.
All right, I think we've beaten up Apple quite a bit here. I'd like to move on to the rest of the industry. But let's start with our speakers first. Okay, audience, quick poll. Who's more evil, Jason or Guy? Think about it. Think about it.
I don't know if I want to win or lose this.
All right.
I want to win this.
Gary Tan, since you're an investing company, you don't have to vote on this. You can turn away.
No, you might really have first-hand data of why I'm evil.
All right. Who's more evil, Jason? Jason? Hands up. You got to vote on this. You got to vote.
That's it?
Guy?
Everybody else
Who's
thinks
more evil,
I'm
Guy?
evil?
Guy beat me on
There's
evil?
a lot of non-voters.
Where's the
That was pretty
abstentions?
close, actually.
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
That was Guy beat me by like 2.
All right.